Football players tend to celebrate these occasions too soon, and initially, an excessive celebration. Dude not only had his goal taken away from him, but he also received a yellow card for removing his shirt. But not allowing your own teammate to enjoy the celebration is even more embarrassing. This guy really prevented his own team from scoring. This one after that is much more bizarre. The longest celebration in football history was started by one guy. Put away. The score was timely, at least, because the entire planet trembled at this next one. As you can see, Real Madrid has won the most Champions League games in the competition's history, making them the reigning champions. Thus, everyone assumed it would be an easy win when they faced Wolfsburg in 2016. Yes, the European Kings were defeated 2-0 by Wolfsburg in the first leg. You are aware that everyone was acting like fools. Cristiano Ronaldo was going to pull off an incredible feat, since he has a reputation for performing when it counts most. Dude is the one with the most match-winning goals in football history after all. Ronaldo was the only one who was hurt by the team's 2-0 Champions League deficit, even though everyone else wanted to lose. Did he not? Ronaldo Cristiano by himself. Ronaldo Cristiano. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Real Madrid went on an incredible run and ultimately won the entire competition as a result of that comeback. It caused Peak to wail on X once more. Even more bizarre was the occasion when a team began to celebrate before they had scored a goal. When the opposing team is attempting to score on you, how are you going to celebrate? But one team began celebrating a promotion before he was even hired, which is absurd, even though it was one of the worst moments to celebrate. However, I'll update everyone on it later. Since we had to discuss the goalie who began celebrating far too soon first, man, he's never going to celebrate like this again. And it's not the next one either, because Liverpool was playing Tottenham as everyone expected them to win one of the biggest games of the season, taking a severe beating from the Ronaldo. No one's fucking Jones. The perfect strike for Liverpool. It can only go one way. Liverpool, yes. It's happening again to Tottenham. Liverpool appears. The Egyptian makes it look easy. Liverpool 3, Tottenham 0. Harry Kane cannot believe it. And heading into the halftime, they were already up 3-1. So just like everyone else, I thought this *** was over. But eventually Tottenham started gaining some momentum. And in the 77th minute, Son Heung-min would get the Spurs one back. Son is onside here, in behind Van Dijk, and it's 3-2. Son tries to rouse the Tottenham fans. Buckle up, because we're in for a big final 15 minutes here now. And in the 92nd minute, Liverpool fans could sense that Tottenham were getting closer to a comeback, until one player started celebrating way too early. Sums in swinger, Richarlison. Tottenham have done it. From 3-0 down. It's one of the great Premier League comebacks. And what time? Yeah, this dude was hushing fans, emoting, you name it. He did it. And that would ultimately create one of the most viral moments of the season. Because just a few seconds later, Liverpool did this. It's not over yet, Shelton. For 3, Diogo Shelton and Richarlison's heroics have been erased. But celebrating a goal and getting your cheeks clapped is one thing. Sometimes, players celebrate so much, karma has to hit them back. It was the second leg of the Championship playoff semifinals. Watford versus Leicester. We both knew how much was at stake. This game would decide who would have a chance to be promoted to the Premier League. So with everything coming down to the end, one player tricked the referee. Knockout, he's got to be on break. Still going. Knockout, goes to ground. As Cassidy leans on him, penalty. That is a massive decision. Honestly, I get why the whole stadium was losing their ***, because that was the wildest dive I've ever seen. But little do they know that celebrating before scoring would turn out to be the biggest mistake in football history. Knockout takes. Amunia saves. Knockout follows in. Amunia saves again. Absolutely astonishing. Forestieri. Here's Hogg. Diddy, do not scratch your eyes. You are really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. Oh my God, that right there has to be the wildest 20 seconds I've ever seen. One of the craziest celebrations ever made one team forget they were still playing. And look at where the goalkeeper is. He's on the halfway line. And all of the K-Stars players drift into their own half. Immediately, they want the ball. The referee says, let's get it back in play. Then the goalkeeper's hurrying. But he's hurrying too late, and the damage is done. But as wild as that was, This would have never happened, and Barcelona wouldn't have gotten their asses completely humiliated in the first leg against PSG. See, PSG came out from the first minute swinging, scoring goal after goal, and eventually they ran up the score to 4-0. Cavani can hit it, and does hit it. 4-0, and they swept aside Barcelona again. At this point, making a comeback was out of the question. The PSG players were sure they were making it to the next round. But let's be real, bro. There was always a chance. And in the second leg, they came out swinging. It's up into the air. It's scrappy. It's in the goal. It's Iniesta. Iniesta wins the ball. Back heel. It's in the net. Oh, goal. To Neymar. Neymar goes down. There'll be a penalty. Waiting for the whistle. Messi steps up, hits it into the net. Yeah, in just 50 minutes, they had scored 3 goals and were just one away from taking this to overtime. Eventually, PSG scored 1 goal, which pretty much made it impossible for them to lose. But with Neymar scoring another goal in the 91st minute, all Barcelona needed was a miracle. Eventually, everything would come down to the last kick of the game. Neymar on the ball now. But this next one was so unexpected, it even had the refs confused. Now, so far, we've only seen goalkeepers, players, and teams celebrating too early. But next, a whole fan base messed up. Because with Hull being down by a goal, their chances of being promoted were slowly fading away. That's when Hull players did everything but freaking out. And instead, they slowly started working their way up the ranks. But Cardiff can't clear their lines. Pressure. He's done it this time. And Hull City are level. After getting 1 goal back, you can tell the fans and players started believing again. So when they finally got another chance through a corner, they made sure to give it their all. Width and quality. Oh, this is good again. It's Paul McShane. It's Hull City that will be joining Cardiff in the Premier League next season. And with that goal, one thing was clear. Promotion was getting closer. All they needed was to hold Cardiff off and wait for the final whistle. As Nugent to the referee is given a penalty. Tigers fans are on the pitch here. The game is not over. Paul McShane saying to them, "Get off the pitch. Please come on." What's that about? Or, so they thought. The only thing that was standing in the way between Hull and the Premier League was 1 goal. So with fans and players holding their breath, Leeds would in the 91st minute save Hull's dream of promotion by scoring a game winner against Watford. It's all over. Hull City are in the Premier League. Thanks to late drama, not only were Hull promoted to the Premier League, but their fans once again got to storm the field and celebrate. That was, quite honestly, one of the silliest title races I have ever witnessed. However, occasionally being overly arrogant might lead to animosity between two nations. It was the qualifiers for the European Under-21 champions. Fans had no idea that this matchup between Sweden and France would go on to become a legendary one. You see, France would clap Sweden's ass during the opening match, winning 2-0. However, they were in the best mood ever, because Sweden needed to win by a minimum of 3-0 in order to advance. And Sweden had written history by the 70th minute. Sweden had so entirely changed the course of events by the time the game ended. France was left with no other choice. They needed to win, because they would become the most accomplished U21 team in the world if they scored a goal, which would also automatically qualify them for the European Championship. And things would drastically change by the 87th minute of play. You'd think that French players wouldn't tamper with karma, wouldn't you? It was obvious that the Swedish players were enthused by that celebration. Thus, with the game nearly over, all Sweden had to do was reclaim 1 goal. To be honest, I kind of thought they would. Whoa, karma appeared to be hammering the French players' doors abruptly. The most unbelievable thing is that the Swedish players advanced all the way to the finals when they defeated Portugal, in addition to getting to humiliate the French players right there and then. You can guarantee that the Swedes would seize the opportunity to remind the French squad never to celebrate too soon after this. To be honest, I think this is the most absurd instance of karma I have ever witnessed. However, not everyone may concur. What if, however, I told you that one team's attempt to give Liverpool a hearty round of applause during the first leg of the Champions League semifinals backfired? All of this began on May 1, 2019, when Barcelona and Liverpool squared up in the first leg of the Champions League semifinals. And with stacked teams on both sides, every non-fan anticipated one of the wildest games of the year. However, that would all end very soon.